Hey, man.
Can I ask you, when you think of Brentford and your time there, is there a special memory? Do you remember something from first stepping into the club, perhaps, or a promotion, or is there one thing that when someone mentions Brentford, you envisage?
There's many magical moments. I would say I've been privileged to be part of with fantastic people. Of course, the promotion is the standout achievement. Getting promoted to the best league in the world, first time in 4 years or something like that. That's very unique. That is, pure happiness in one day probably, and then you go again. So that's special. And I think in this context, it's also pretty nice to beat Arsenal 2-0. So in the first game in Premier League.
Did you take a keepsake? Do you have something?
So much, sorry?
A keepsake, a souvenir? You take something from Griffin Park, for example, or is there something that you cherish from?
No, not in that. I would say there's a lot of memories in these days. There's a lot of pictures and bits and pieces that one day, when I'm not in football anymore, I will create that special room, my home of the 7 years in Brentford, everything I achieved there, and then the 7 years in Tottenham with everything I achieved here. So that I'm looking forward to.
Do you regard yourself as sentimental? Can you be sentimental in your business?
I hope. I think if we can't, because I think football is a lot about emotions. So if the head coach can't show emotions and can't be, how you say, sentimental or happy about what I've been part of achieving with special moments in Brentford, then I not really cherish the special years I had there. So that is definitely a lot of good emotions around that.
May I ask you just one? We've asked you about this before, but I don't know if anything sort of developed in your mind since just the contrast between a home form and away form.
Us, yeah. I think let's start with the positive first. To be competitive away from home is a big part of a successful team. You need to be able to be competitive and get enough points on the road. And I think that's where I think we've shown a lot of resilience and character, defensive, clean sheet mentality, set piece being good. Then we know home, you need to dominate more. We need to do it to dare to do. We need to add even more layers, and that I'm not in doubt of will come. Because one thing for sure, all the teams I had scored a lot of goals. I create one top scorer after another, year in, year out. That will also happen here. We just need some of the guys that are natural top scorers to be fit and available.
Do people have to sort of just shelve to dare is to do for?
No, I don't think so, because it's not like it's from 0 to 100. There's still, let's say, elements of it where we have been showing nice elements of very good offensive football, but it's just not been as consistent as where we want it to be. And also a little bit understanding of where we are at the moment. We are, I will keep repeating it, we are on a journey where we need to improve a lot of stuff, where we finished 17th last year, played Europa League and won it, fantastic. Now we're playing Champions League and knock up, and we are trying to compete in the league with quite a few of the key players out. That's the fact. But the fact is also we need to win, and we need to play, we need to do everything we can to win with what we have available right now, but constantly improve the team to make sure we play more and more and better offensively.
Tom?
One of the things that was particularly impressive about your time at Brentford was how you kept selling players and just continued to progress. Obviously, it's a different club here at Tottenham, different expectations, but they're still under the same sort of PSR constraints. How important is it, and how relevant is it for Tottenham as it was for Brentford to be good sellers?
I think that's key. I think that's why it's it's not only doing one thing right, get the playing in a specific way, or get the culture right, or whatever, train in a specific way, or there's a lot of elements that we need to do well to be able to compete at the highest level. So part of it, of course, also to be able to sell. You can see other top clubs; they're quite good at selling. So that's something we need to be improving. That's something I know the guys above me are working very hard on. So everything is linked.
And you develop so many players at Brentford. I'm sure many come to mind, and you're almost probably like picking your favourite kids because they're all success stories in their own right. But is there any one player that you remember developing where you were particularly proud of it and that you can use almost towards as a useful example towards a current player in the current squad?
You're right, it's like picking your favorite kid. That's impossible. I got 3 kids myself, so I can't say that one of them are a bigger favorite than others. There's a lot of good success stories, but also a lot of them are where it takes some time. You can say the latest one is Brian Mbeumo. It took 6 years from when he arrived as 19 years old to 25 before he went, and he just ended he went when he was on the top of his performance level. And I think it's that when that was that stage that in Brentford, it's different here. But when they're on the top of the ability, that's where you need to sell, if that's possible, of course.
So when you look at someone like Wilson over here, I mean, maybe do you even speak to him about Brian? I know they're on different sides, but
Yeah.
similar age.
He also came for Troyes, I think, in France. Not comparing too much the same, because Wilson is Wilson, but I think he's a good example. Was he 2021? Can't remember. 2021, something like that. But that's also a good example that he also need to. He went very well when he came on against Crystal Palace, and he had some good starts and also some other good sub appearances. But then there's also, do we have a team that's fully functioning, and you can play one talent game in, game out, or you can give them the time. That's a big part of that, getting better. But also I think it's a good thing to acknowledge that, of course, he needs to perform, but also when he is, let's say, 24 years, of course, he's played a lot before that. He's hopefully a top performer. I can see that.
When you're out and about, I don't know how much Premier League managers bump into fans these days, maybe when he runs around Richmond Park perhaps, but do you come across both Brentford fans and Tottenham fans? And if you do, how do the Brentford fans chat to you now that you left the club? They're still showing the same kind of respect as they did before? And what's it like with Spurs fans? What do they say to you when you bump into them?
They actually was in London yesterday and met a couple. One was a Brentford fan, and the other was a Tottenham fan. And the Brentford fan was very positive and said thank you for everything I've done at the club. And I said, you're welcome. It's not only about me. It's everyone doing things together. And the Tottenham supporter said, keep doing what you're doing a top job. I love what you're doing. So that was positive. I guess the one that is not that positive either are not brave enough to say it into my face. So that's probably a little bit easier behind the keyboard. But the message there is generally positive.
Just lastly, I know Dominic Solanke is who must not be named right now, but last season you had Igor Thiago who came in to effectively be Ivan Toney's replacement before you sold him, and then he got injured pretty much for all the season. I know he's doing brilliantly now, but you didn't really get a chance to use him. How much was that kind of, although you wouldn't have wanted it at the time, was that also almost been like useful experience for what you have had to deal with here, missing your central striker throughout the season?
Yeah, you can say that. I also think you can say Jon Wisse did well before that, but the year before did very well. Now he then continued playing, so even the games where Igor Thiago was available, Wisse played because he was on fire. Ended up scoring 19 non-penalty goals. It's incredible. achievement. What I knew was that I was convinced that Igor will be a goal scorer for Brentford, or not convinced the way he is as a personality, his mindset, but also his abilities, and he's proven that. And I think Keith and the coaching staff have done a top job to make him perform in every aspect. So it's a little bit similar here. You can say Richie now, he's played more or less a lot of minutes and done well. This far away from scoring 2 goals 2 days ago against Crystal Palace. But on the flip side, I'm also convinced that Solanke will score a lot of goals for us when he comes back.
So that's that story about meeting the fans. Where were you? You in London?
Covent Garden.
Was it just out with your family?
Yeah.
Just enjoying a Christmas?
Yeah, just had a Christmas lunch, I think it was, or lunch, whatever. Not Christmas, lunch. Thank you, welcome.
George, please.
Hi, Thomas. I wanted to ask you about when Dean Smith went back to Brentford. You've been in charge a couple of months, he's obviously left a couple of months. You won 1-0, Neil Maupay scored a late goal, but I just wondered what you kind of remember of that occasion of a real Brentford legend in Dean coming back, having left, and what you sort of made of his kind of reception. He got a really good reception, I really liked it.
Yeah. No, but that was, of course, a little bit the same. Dean done a top job, came into Brentford when Brentford struggled a bit, stabilized them in a very good way in the championship and gave them hope for the future. Did that very, very well. And then he got the opportunity to go to Villa. I got the opportunity to take a step up. So I remember that clearly was a special day in many ways.
And that obviously feels like that was his chance to kind of say goodbye. Is Thursday your kind of chance to really say goodbye to the Brentford fans? Not something everyone always gets the opportunity to do, but it feels like a good chance for you to sort of show your appreciation to them and like what.
Yeah, definitely. I think football is such a special industry in many ways. So for players or managers, you can be there for many, many years, and then suddenly either you are sold or sacked or can stop whatever, but you never really get the opportunity the next day to come in and say goodbye, which was the same in Brentford. Even I was there for so many years, because then we were on holidays, in between seasons, and then when I came back, they were started up, so you can't do it with respect. Even that I have a great relationship to Keith and we respect each other and we of course speak together and all that, but you can't really walk into the club because it's a little bit odd in many ways. But of course, the relationship you created with people, that of course still have friendship there. I will have that forever.
And you mentioned earlier about the win at Palace being a beautiful, ugly win. In this kind of period where there's so many games and it's not like the level of opposition drops quite a lot, is that kind of what you're looking for in this period? It can't be free-flowing. You've not got Xavi, you're playing every 3 or 4 days. Those beautiful, ugly wins are kind of the base to kick on.
I think it's so important. I think every good team needs to be able to do that. And as I said, we are building something. I think also fair to say we are not where City or Arsenal, Chelsea or Liverpool are right now, unfortunately. We really want to be there. But even them, they need to win some ugly wins sometimes, where they're winning 1-0. How many times have Arsenal won 1-0 on a set piece this season? So we need to be able to do that. And I know it will be a very difficult team at Brentford. A part of created what I know I'm facing, and that would be very difficult at the G-Tech. They have won 6 games, drawn 2, lost 1-0 to City. They've beaten Liverpool there, Newcastle there, Man United there, recently 4-1 Bournemouth. That's wow. If you don't show respect to that, then it's the same. They're going here, you have 3 points, but we will be very respectful. We know what we are facing, and we need to be extremely competitive, and I know we will be.
And just finally, I know obviously you don't want to talk about Brennan, but if a player in your squad that's obviously a first team player leaves, does that change the plans massively for January, or are you kind of looking at Solanke and Kulusevski coming in as it kind of it not
we are looking at every single time, let's say a player goes out, then do we need to get a new one in, or is it actually part of creating the right amount of players in the squad? Because you can't have too few, you can't have too many. So that's a very fine balance, and then you have that injury challenge to manage as well, depending on where you are. So as I say, we are in the market and we are very aware how strong a squad we need to compete, not only in the next 6 months, but it's 100% for the future as well.
Okay, thank you.
Same guys, thank you very much. See you guys. Thank you. Happy New Year, by the way.